Speaker Kevin.
Me and that's you.
Yeah, that's you and that's me.
That's me. That's not me. That's not me. Me.
Hey, guys, it's Amber,
And Kristen.
and we have a special guest with us today, Mr. Caleb. Say hi, Caleb.
Hey.
Hey. So, if you all got online earlier, I asked how you started your day out, like what, because I feel like what you do first thing in the morning kind of sets the tone for your day. If you see some stuff going across our face, Kristen's working on trying to get it gone. So just bear with us a minute. So that's what we're going to talk about today, like how you start your day, what you can do to start your day to make it better, so on and so forth. And we are live, so we will give a few minutes to get people on that want to chat with us.
And y'all can enjoy watching me try to remember how to do this. Nope.
What a face.
Who did that?
Mommy's doing that.
Mommy's doing that. She's trying to get it off our faces. Icon, there it is. Close.
Now you close.
Ta-da! It's fixed. All right.
Man.
So, Kristen, tell us about your morning. Since
You don't want to know about my morning.
We've got little man with us today.
Isn't he so cute though?
He is.
He's sit here and crunch on his chips, so y'all are gonna get some ASMR when we're in this too.
He was super excited about being online today with us.
Yes, he was.
So I'm gonna fix my hair. I like big hair, but I don't like it sticking up.
My hair's blending into the background.
So this morning I put out there, happy Thursday. I'm a huge believer in how you start your day sets the pace for your whole day. Do you think that? Or do you? So, I mean, if you wake up in a bad mood, you can probably change that, but chances are you're probably not going to change that. You're going to have a bad day pretty much all day long. And that, I mean, so what do you all do to set the pace of your day?
Make your day better.
So some have already chimed in on that post. Abigail says that she prays. She prays every morning. So I'm curious, and I know you're at work, so you can't answer this, but do you pray before you get up out of bed? Like, do you pray after bed, after you get up? Like, what do you do?
Lisa's over here chiming in too.
Lisa says she starts most of her day off at work by 4 a.m. That sucks, getting up and going to work that early. But what do you do before you like get up and out of the house? What is your morning routine?
What is your morning routine?
My morning routine?
Mm-hmm.
I get up and I have my coffee. I need my coffee first.
I probably should have had about a pot or 10 this morning.
That's a pot is usually what gets me through the day.
It was a rough morning because we went to get ready. So the reason we're running late is, but I'm totally blaming you, kiddo. I went to get.
You don't care, do you?
I went to get ready, and he spilt his drink.
Mm.
So I was telling you, this is the second drink we spilled today. I kicked his drink over when I was getting ready to sit down. But then he just was on wide nine all morning, just go, 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 go. And I'm just like, it's too early for this shit.
Now I do like I say I get my coffee, but like first thing in the morning, I let my dogs out. So
Mhm.
and depending on how much coffee I can get in me before I have to bring them back in, really will depend on where my mood goes because I have barkers. My dogs bark
Me too.
like freaking insane. If somebody pulls into our driveway, that's it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
on 10 the
You're
whole
not
time.
sneaking, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
it drives me insane.
Somebody was like, what are you gonna do if somebody breaks in your house? And I said, well,
They're not going to get very far because
No,
if
I've
they're
got
like my dogs,
pretty big dogs.
yeah, the alarm, they are my alarm. They go off.
Trish said, first thing, run to the potty and turn on my coffee. Sounds about right. I have one of those K-cup things.
Mhm.
So that when I have them and when I have the time, because I always find that I run out of time. Like, it don't matter what I'm doing.
Well, that's why I have a pot that will brew it. Like I can set a timer
Oh my God, I
on
need
it.
one.
Yes, I set a timer so it is already brewed by the time I'm awake and up and going.
Yeah, I cannot. Like, I honestly, I cannot get my shit together some mornings. And
Oh,
it
there's
seems
a
like
lot
most
of mornings. There's a lot of mornings I can't get my shit together.
And everybody's always like, you're always late. And I'm like, I have 4 kids, and that's not to blame them. I have very poor time management. Very poor time management.
I do too.
And it doesn't matter what job I've had, I will be running in the door when it's time to clock in. And it's not like a purposeful thing. No kick. It's not a purposeful thing. It is more of a, I just can't remember.
Mm.
I lose
Mine
track of time.
is I get so easily sidetracked. Like I think that I am doing really good with my time and getting ready and getting out, but then I will think because I've done good with my time, then oh well here, let me throw some dishes in the dishwasher. Oh here, let me throw some laundry in the washer.
Mhm.
You know, let me do this before I leave.
That's because you're ADD and you try to say that it's all, me, but you just are better at getting up in the mornings. My thing is, I'll get home.
Oh,
at
I'm not
night.
better at getting up in the
I don't
morning.
mean like getting up, like you do your stuff in the morning.
Yes.
I do my stuff
At
night.
night.
And then it seems like I'll want to do one more load of laundry, or
Mhm.
I want to mop this floor, or I want to do this. And then, I turn around, it's a good apple. I'll turn around and it's 3:00 in the morning, and I'm like, well, there went the night's sleep I was wanting to get.
Yeah.
But
Can you thank Miss Trish? Tell her thank you for your apple.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can hear him, but
He
Yeah.
said thank you, Miss Trish, for the apple.
Brandon said, first thing in the AM potty, then check notifications on my phone. I think we all do that.
Yes, and so that's why I've thought about this because I don't know if you all recently have gotten the same notifications on your social medias that
It's
I have.
ridiculous.
It is a constant battle between this side and that side. Constant bickering and oh yeah, well let me one up you here. Oh yeah, well let me one up you here. And that drives me crazy.
Yeah, because so I got some like news yesterday that was kind of like upsetting, and when I'm out like that, I want like uplifting things.
Mhm,
I don't want to sit there
positive.
and stare at sad things.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here scrolling Facebook and I was like, what is the point? So I got on TikTok because where we make funny TikToks, that's what pops up on our TikTok.
Right.
So I was like, perfect. I'm just going to TikTok because Trish said, "You're welcome, nobody." But I'll get on TikTok now and just watch the funny videos on TikTok because
It's
I don't wanna
draining.
watch the sad stuff.
It's draining. And even if you are in a good mood, I thought about that this morning.
It'll put you in a bad one.
It will put you in a bad mood. It will
Mhm.
definitely put you in a bad
Yes,
mood.
I was so the cop that got shot in Indiana. I actually joined something this morning to watch for his updates because I hope he's okay. And just some of the comments people make and things.
They're
Like,
nasty.
I find myself getting extremely involved. You all really need to get some ASMR.
And I do too. That's why I have to force myself to step away because I do find myself getting extremely involved in their conversations. And then I think, why? Why am I getting involved? These people don't know me. I don't know these people.
And then they'll get on
And
your
I'm not
Facebook
gonna
and be nasty on
change.
your Facebook.
Yeah.
Remember the one that got on our podcast page and like put laughing faces and said, remember, do better, be better.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you all were bullying somebody, so I chimed in.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, these kind of people, you can't have conversations with.
No.
You cannot
They have to have more brain
change
cells.
their mind. You can't get them to see anything other than what they see, and that's fine.
Uh-huh.
That is completely fine if that's how you look at things and you're that passionate about it. Have at it, but it doesn't mean that you should attack somebody else.
And if you are a hateful, disgusting human being, stay the fuck out of my orbit. Like, just stay away from me. I have no desire to be around you. Like, I just want positive
I
around
think
me.
that's why, because I told you all last night, I think I'm just going to step away from social media because it's draining. And I have just Brandon, I don't know what Brandon you're
It
talking
was
about.
Brandon Wayne.
Oh, okay. So I have that same problem, Brandon, because I get up first thing in the morning after I get my coffee ready, get my dogs out and settled. I have to wait for my husband and my kid to get out the door for school. So I will scroll through social media. I will scroll through my phone and stuff. And I'm going to quit that. Somehow or
Scroll
another, I'm
TikTok.
going to quit
Scroll
that.
TikTok. Because it's like, honestly, it's an addiction.
It is.
So that's why I chose to start scrolling TikTok. Because I find when I scroll Facebook, it's just so
It's all.
depressing.
I seen somebody one time say that their phones, they reach for their phones first thing in the morning because it's almost like their newspaper or their news channels or you know.
Okay, did you hear about the plane crash yesterday?
Yes,
that
we
killed
watched it.
67?
We watched it, not live, but we watched like after it had happened, all of the rescue things and everything last night.
They were still talking about it this morning. They had only recovered 28 bodies. And they were just saying, now it's a recovery mission. And this news man, I'm telling you, I watched his broadcast and I was so livid because this man, his wife was on the plane. She was only 26. And he was waiting on her to get back. And he was at the airport and this news guy, started interviewing him. And at first it was okay. But then the man was like, she sent me a text saying they were going to be landing in, I don't remember if it was 10 or 20 minutes. And the news guy was like, can I see that text? So then the guy pulls his text up, which I would have looked at him and told him to get, what.
Yeah.
But he pulls up his phone and then he showed where his text, probably when her phone went in the water, it disconnected, started not delivering. And I was just like, how heartbreaking and how heartless, because this news guy is sitting there.
News people are heartless.
Yeah. And then like people that'll say, I don't want to find out about things on Facebook. Get the hell off Facebook then, because the news is going to break it to you in a way worse way.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
That's why, and I don't know.
I'm sorry. I've
agree.
been negative Nancy for 2 days now.
I agree, and I don't agree with that. Because
we've talked about this
yes,
before.
And you say I would much rather like my vehicle be put out on there or whatever. Let people know that I have been in a wreck or what have you. Me personally, I don't want that. I would not want
to find out that way.
Yeah, I did when my husband wrecked.
Yeah,
I did. There's no way that I would have wanted to get on Facebook and find out that way.
Yeah, you got really lucky at how you found out. Like it was more of a personable way. But if I'm going to be told by the news, then why do I give a shit if it's on Facebook? And I'm sorry, but people will talk about posting pictures of a wreck. Guess what? The news is going to give you an aerial view of it, and they're going to show the deceased in a damn blanket.
See, and that's what I don't.
Or under a sheet.
Where I can't agree with. That's where I think.
Oh, I think that's way too much. I'm just saying.
People need to wait and at least respect the fact of.
I don't think.
I don't know. Like find out another source. Let somebody close to you. I don't want a stranger telling me stuff.
So, I mean,
because they twist things. I feel like they twist things.
I would hope if, I got into a wreck, somebody will grab my cell phone and call, even the last number called on my phone.
Right.
Or, whatever.
Well, I know some people have it on their phone and I don't
emergency calls.
Yeah. I see emergency contact, whatever name or whatever. I do not have that in my phone, and I guess that's probably what I should do. Yeah, I should probably do that.
Okay, so my thing is when it comes to finding out the quickest, I want to find out as soon as possible, because if I can be there with my loved one while they take their last breath, I want to be there. I don't want to wait for a cop to figure out who I am,
right?
So that I can be notified, and then they die 10 minutes before I get there. Like that's where I come from, as far as don't
Move.
like if you don't want to find out, don't be on Facebook because it's gonna be on Facebook. And then people will say things like, "Oh shit." People will say things like, a family don't need to find out that way. Well, they also don't need to find out from a news person either, but they're going to. So I just want to find out as quick as possible.
I think that it would depend on.
You've started something now.
I know I'm
She's
going
gonna
to
be giving him a drink every 5 seconds.
every 2 or 3 seconds a minute. I
Um,
think it's going to depend on like
Beneva put, that's why I don't watch the news. Respect the families. Well, and
exactly.
see,
I don't watch.
okay.
I do
So,
not like news
Here's
outlets
the thing:
at all.
that respect goes both ways. Because do you respect the person that wouldn't want to find out that way, or the person that would want to find out the soonest?
Right.
That's where that is such
That's-
a gray area.
Right. That's why I
because-
said that's where like me and you don't see like we
Necessarily eye to eye.
Right.
We see I
where
think-
each other's coming from.
I was right. So I think that's where me and you are mature enough to see where we're coming from,
Right.
but we're also both very well aware of where the other one's coming from.
Right.
Like, I mean, I understand not wanting to find out that way. And I think that only certain things should be put out there. I don't think that it should be, oh, it's a fatality, oh, it's this, or this vehicle is demolished, or
Yeah.
this or that. If you want a description of the vehicles, I'll give it to you. But I'm not going to say
I
what
thought we
shape
were
the
reaching for
vehicle's
goodness.
in. If somebody's under a sheet, I'm not telling you none of that.
Right.
I will tell you what the vehicle description is because that's all you're asking for. Because if it's one of your family members that you can't get a hold of, if you don't know what they drive, then you don't really care too much. So, I
Right.
mean, but that's, we've had to find out about bikers going down on the news and or word of mouth. And then
You dropped it, I know.
it's okay, you got more up here. And or by word of mouth, and then by the time it gets back to you, it's 20 different things, and you don't know whether or not they're in severe condition. What's going on?
Right.
Drew's wreck, our phones blew up, and then we find out on Tiffany's Facebook from somebody that was very inconsiderate that said Tiffany died.
hmm
Tiffany's dead.
Yeah, and
Like-
see that it's things like that I don't. And it reminds me of, and I will never ever forget this story. When I was in 3rd grade, and it's crazy that I can remember something in 3rd grade, but I remember sitting in my classroom, and we had these 2 girls who were labeled as troublemakers, I guess you could say. But they had both missed that day. Well, apparently they were prank calling. So this little boy who I had gone to school with, and he was a great friend of mine, but his family came rushing in the school, and then most of the parents knew all the teachers and the staff and the principals, so it wasn't really a big deal for parents to come into your classroom back then.
Yeah.
So they both come running into the classroom. He had I don't know, cut his finger or something. But anyway, they were freaked out because in 3rd grade now, these girls had prank called his parents and said that something major had happened to him at school. And so they had run to the school to check on him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they came in and they were like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?" And he's like, "I cut my finger." That's that. And it blew up totally out of proportion the way that it was just from a prank call.
And did those girls get in any trouble? Usually they don't.
That part I don't remember. I
Well-
just remember this because that was
Yeah.
before social media time, and it still happened.
Oh, yeah.
know.
Well, and I mean, I think that it doesn't even matter. Like Braylon, fell one time at school and had to have a staple in his head.
Mhm.
And the school called me and they're like, I don't beat around the bush with me. I just want it straightforward. But they were like, "Would you like us to call an ambulance?" Or and they always call me Miss Walker because that's his last name. They'll say, "Would you like us to call an ambulance, Miss Walker, or would you like to come up here and see?" And I'm like, "Well, is it bad enough that he needs an ambulance? Like,
Right.
I mean, if he needs an ambulance, call the ambulance. Don't ask me."
I think it's because so much of teachers are afraid the parents are going to
Look at the world
sue
we live
or
in.
get them fired for this, that, and the other, and some teachers are just probably should not even be teaching the way I
Right.
see it. I don't know.
Beneva said, "One thing I can't stand is to get a text saying a loved one is dead instead of being old-fashioned called." I think if it is a mass text,
Mhm.
because unless I call somebody and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. I need help. Spread the word." If so, I'll just go there. If something happened to Justin, I'm not going to call people. I'm going to probably send a text because I'm not going to be in the shape to call people.
Right. But you know what? I don't, in that case, I think that.
And I don't want to be hung up on the phone with questions and things like that. I just want to go.
Exactly. But in a case like that, I think you should have one person that you can
Designate to do it.
text and say,
Get the word out.
this is what happened, you
Yeah.
know, because when Jimmy wrecked, that's exactly what I did. Like my phone was blowing
I know.
up.
I messaged you. And I was like, I'm not going to
nonstop.
bother you, but if you need something, let me know.
And finally, I messaged my sister and I was like, I'm shutting off my phone. Please make them stop. Make them stop calling me, texting me, you know, trying to find out. Because some of it was people I had no clue who they were.
Yeah. Well, you and I weren't close when it happened, but I
And-
wanted you to know, like, you're not alone.
Right.
If
And
you
I
want
get that.
something.
I get that people want that. They want to get that out there. But at that time, like my mindset,
It's not on.
well,
telling
I
everybody
didn't
what's going on.
care. Yeah. And I didn't even know. I had no updates to
Well,
give people.
And you're not hungry. You're not nothing. You're just anxious and you want answers. And Caleb, you're gonna have to sit back, baby.
Here's your cookies right here.
But you're not in necessarily the right state of mind to answer those questions because like I said, I'm a straight shooter. I just tell me the truth. Don't beat around the bush. The end. How can you be in a bad mood when you have a
I
Caleb
know,
sitting here
he's-
between us?
Eating his
Um,
cookies. He's so excited
But
about
I
them.
mean, that's like I was trying to think of another instance, but
Well, we got way off course.
well,
here.
well, because squirrel.
Yeah.
I mean, you have two people that
That's
you know,
what
squirrels like.
happens.
But that is one of those things too, where you look at it and it can go both ways. So you can't necessarily say that the family wouldn't want this or you wouldn't want, like, okay, but I would.
Right.
So it's such a gray area.
It
but I
is.
think that there is a way to respect the family and get the information
And
out
get
there.
the information out there.
Because no, there should not be pictures. I
No,
know.
No,
so
there should not be.
I was young. Aubrey had just been born, and my ex-boyfriend from high school was him and I still spoke and everything. We were fine, and he was killed by a dump truck.
Mhm.
Hit him head on in his truck, and the news channel put a video up of him under the sheet in the truck still,
See, I think
and
that's
he was
horrible.
his mother's only child.
I think that's horrible. That's sad. That's so sad.
And I sit there and I look at things like that, and I'm like,
But
that is heartless.
so, you know, because we did stray off what we were originally talking about. But
This
it
is how our
kinda-
mornings start.
It does. It kind of goes back to that because if that's the first thing that you put in your mind as soon as you wake up,
Mhm.
that sets the pattern
sets the
of your
tone.
day. You know, Tommy House said, I read my Bible, devotional, and Bible, then spend a few minutes in prayer. Whenever I skip doing this, my mood changes quickly when things aren't going well, and I usually start my day about 3:30 a.m. And I think that
That's when I go to bed.
a lot of people do that. You know, they will
Mhm.
either pray or read their Bible or meditate or just take and I think it's very important that you take that time in the morning to
Correct.
allow yourself to wake up and get going with your day, you
Mhm.
know,
Well, and prayer
because it's like a domino.
uh-huh.
It's a domino effect. Say if I woke up and I'm in a bad mood and I'm going to snip and snap at you, then that puts
Yeah.
you in a bad mood and you're going to snip and snap at somebody else, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's something else too. Like that to me is different if I'm talking to you or Abigail or somebody I'm close to, I'm gonna vent.
Right.
However, I'm not gonna like try to put you in a bad mood. I'm hoping you can put me in a good mood.
Right.
But I don't want to see if I'm not close to you, I will pray for you, but from a distance. Only because I know what I mentally can handle. And I just can't handle the Debbie Downer stuff all the time. And it's because, like I said yesterday, you know, depression's kind of eating me up right now. And I know it, and I'm trying. Like, I got out of bed. I was running a little late today, but I got up.
That you got out?
And so, I mean, but that is, you know, I guess where I come in different because I do suffer from chronic depression and
Mhm.
anxiety. And when my anxiety gets super bad, my depression gets bad. And medicine's not going to fix that. It just kind of levels me out. But that's why my mornings are so important. And normally they start with little cuddles from this one over here laying in my lap. And
Kind of like what he's trying to do right now. He's
Yeah.
trying to cuddle her.
he's literally trying to get in my lap. I think he's getting ready to prop his feet on you, so be
That's all
prepared.
right. You want to put your feet over on me, bud?
He's gonna make himself comfy. But yeah, I mean, that's, to me, prayer can look like a lot of things in the morning too, because even though I don't, sit down and pray, I will talk to God.
Mhm.
And I think that helps my mornings. But I also, if I'm going through a lot, sometimes I just need a good bitch.
Right.
And then I'm
I
in a better
always
mood.
say I wish I could be this person because I love yoga. I love doing yoga. And in my mind, every night when I go to bed, I think, you know what? I'm gonna get up tomorrow and I'm gonna have my coffee and I'm gonna do yoga and I'm gonna get my mindset. And it never
Maybe we
happens.
should try Pilates.
I have yet to wake up in the morning and say, yes, I'm gonna do my yoga today.
Or we
No,
can start walking.
it's not. But what I'm saying is like first thing in the morning, yes, I want to exercise, but I'm
Mhm.
going to have to be a later in the day exerciser.
I am too. When I had my Planet Fitness, I would go at nights.
Mhm.
And it's only because I'm a night person.
I don't think that I'm really a night person. I can't really say that I'm a night person. I'm definitely not.
You'd
A
have to do
morning
midday because I'm
person.
telling you, night, like in the afternoon, it's slammed in there, and then early in the mornings.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose to go late at night. But that's also because I'm a late at night type
And if
person.
you're a type of person that can get up and that's the first thing that you do in the morning,
I
is,
commend you.
yes, that's great, awesome.
I'm
you go.
lucky if I can get up and walk to the toilet.
Yeah,
That is no joke.
And I don't like to be talked to.
Mm-mm.
That sets my tone too. If you talk to me first thing in the morning,
It's not a good idea.
it's not like I
cannot
don't
stand-
mean to be that person. My husband, when we first got together, he was such a morning person.
Justin's a morning
I
person.
mean, he would, as soon as his feet hit the floor, he was like, da 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 da, my
Oh.
day has started, and I'm like, shut up,
Shut the hell up.
you know.
Or I don't like when people ask me a bunch of questions when I'm waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Do not ask me one damn question. Give me 30 minutes to at least process where the floor is
Right.
and talk myself into going to the bathroom, because I will talk myself into getting out of the bed because it's so warm. I don't want to get up. And then, once I'm up, but I got to talk myself into it. And don't talk to me until then.
He used to always say, I'm going to make you a morning person. I'm going to make you a morning person. It never happened. As a matter of fact, I think it was kind of the opposite, and I turned him into a non-morning person.
He's grouchy all the time.
Yeah, but
Mornings are worse.
yeah, I think it happened the other way around this time.
Justin said, "What's Caleb's mornings like?"
What's your mornings like, buddy? Do you cuddle mommy in the mornings? You know, you do.
I think he said,
What do you do?
Do you
in
cuddle
the
mommy in the
morning?
mornings? No. What do you do in the morning? Who do you cuddle? Dad? Dad's not there. Who do you cuddle in the mornings? Yep. Do you cuddle the kitty cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, he torments my cat in the mornings. Lucy, she'll come and lay on me and like just lay there, and he's like snatches her off of me and is wanting to love on her and stuff. And that is something that does make my morning and makes it harder to get out of the bed because he loves to cuddle,
Mhm.
and none of my other kids like to cuddle. Like this would be like forbidden from all three of my other kids, but not him. He's
a cuddler.
He's a cuddle bug. And he
his butt's not on the seat. Be careful.
There. Is that better? But he's a cuddle bug, so in the mornings he kind of makes it. Justin said, "I want to go see Amber."
Justin says, "Oh, Caleb says." I was like, "Why
Okay,
does
so
Justin
in the
want to see
morning-
me?"
In the mornings, it's this big joke. Caleb will say he wants to come to the bar and see Amber. He thinks this is her house.
Yeah, you like coming to see me, don't you?
Because he gets all kinds of junk. But yeah, he'll first thing in the morning when he wakes up, I go see Amber. I go see Amber.
Hence, y'all can't see it. I don't think so. Here is
He has a junk
Well, I mean, apples. Apples are pretty
Apples,
good,
chips, and cookies.
and root
And
beer.
root beer that I kicked over right before we went live.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that is what makes my mornings. But it also makes it hard to get out of bed because, like right now, if I was laying in the bed, this would be how he was.
Mhm.
And he loves.
And I think that makes you more calm.
Mhm.
So that's why you don't want to,
Oh,
because
yeah. He's my
when
peace.
you're up, you're like all the time.
Yep.
So I think that him being your cuddle bug like that in the morning, I think that's your calm.
Yes. And he'll it's so cute at night, like if I have my back to him, because I sleep with my leg on a pillow because my where I've had lower back surgery. And he'll sit there and like rub my back.
Hmm.
And like while he's going to sleep, so like he'll suck his thumb, like he's sucking his thumb right now because he's tired. I don't know why. We just woke up, but he'll suck his thumb and he'll take instead of playing with his ears, he'll rub my back.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that'll work. I'll do that. Daniel Green said, first thing I go to the gym 3:30 every morning.
See, that's what
Uh.
time do you wake up to go to the gym at 3:30 in the morning?
Or do you get up at 3:30 to go to the gym?
Or are you a night shifter? Because that could
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
You used to be a night shifter, but I don't
Are
know
you still a
where
night
you're at now.
shifter? Because that's technically not morning to you, if that's the case, right?
No, and see, I used to have to get up at 3:30 to go to work and not get home till
That
7
yeah,
o'clock
that's
at
what
night.
Tommy said. Tommy
That's
says
a
his
lot.
day starts at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
I
a
only
lot.
worked Mondays and Friday, but then when we had overtime, our overtime would start at 5:30. Well, I'm driving an hour, so I had to get up way earlier to get to work because I had to take 65 the whole way. So you can't really no.
Here, put him over on me.
So he had to, or I had to get up earlier because of 65, and I hated dealing with the traffic in the afternoons. The mornings wasn't too bad, but the afternoon drive
I was
a
very
nightmare.
blessed with the fact that I did not live too far from my office when I still worked Monday through Friday, 9 to
Daniel
5
said
job.
he's a day shifter. He gets up at 3:20 and goes to the gym by 3:30 or 3:40. That's something else about being a dude. They can get up and throw clothes on. Like, how amazing would that be?
I know.
Which we could.
I know
but-
some, and I do know some women who get up early. My supervisor used to get up earlier every day and go to the gym before she came to work. I'm just not one of those people. Like, kudos to you if you can be that person. I'm just not. I'm not one of those people.
You're on mommy's phone.
You're on the TV.
Yep. See, you're on TV.
Wave at the people.
He's got a pageant wave. Yeah, I mean, I'd say like night shift is my shift. Like I do a lot better at night than I do during the day.
I couldn't do night shift. I don't think I mean, I
well,
could if I had to,
I
of
had
course,
really active
but I
night
don't want
shift
to.
jobs. Like I had really active night shift
I like
jobs.
my sleep.
Yeah, I do too, but if I could just get a good night's sleep.
I was going to
might
say,
like
I don't
sleep.
think you like your sleep.
I like it. It just don't ever happen.
It don't like you.
Like yesterday when I left the eye doctor, they had told me about that spot in my eye and stuff, and I was just like upset, having girl issues going on. So I just wanted to lay down, and that's what I did. And all I wanted to do is go to sleep. I laid in my bed until almost 1 o'clock this morning until I fell asleep, and I got in bed at like 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
See, now I have trained myself throughout the years, like anything that has put me in any kind of depression or anything, that I will try to sleep through it.
Yeah.
Like I will lay down and just sleep.
I think when I get bad news, and it's not necessarily even bad news. So like, if you all have ever had this happen, I know it's a low percentage, but it's something they say you have to get checked. But they found a spot in my eye that can be known with colon cancer. And so like when I get stuff like that, my anxiety goes up super high. And when it crashes, all I want to do is lay still.
Because you're super fixated on it.
Yeah.
And that's what causes you.
And then, of course, when something's talked about, so at the eye doctor, they were talking to me about the chances and showing me and telling me what it is and blah, blah, blah. And as they're doing that, your phone hears it. So then that's all it'll pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want to hear about cancer. I just don't. Like, do I think I'm sick? No. Am I scared now? Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I think that a lot of people, and I don't even want to say like strong-minded, because I think that's anybody who gets any kind of news, or they super fixate on it,
Yeah, and I'm a very strong-willed person. Like, and I am very push forward. But it don't matter how
But
much
your
you're like that.
anxiety and
Yes.
your ADD and your OCD, that all like plays into a huge effect on it
Uh-huh.
when something like
Well,
that happens.
And I said, I always say bad things come in threes. So the other night when I left here, I ran over a screw in my garage with my good tires. Like I was like, it'd been different if I needed new tires, but I still had a lot of tread on my tires. And thankfully we had a really amazing friend that, his mom drove an Escalade, so he had the same tire.
Mhm.
And he was
Good
like,
job.
here's,
High five.
my mom's tire. And I was like, how much? And he was like, just take it. And I was like,
That's awesome.
yeah, because my tire's like $400.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's like three something, but then after I put it on everything, it's over $400. And I was just like, those type of people make things so much better. And then after that, I get that news at the eye doctor. And so I needed
Which I
peace.
tried, like, because when you were talking to us about it and everything, about everything that happened, I tried to voice a more positive outlook.
Mhm.
And I say, hey, look at the positive in it.
Yep.
Yes, you got a nail in your tire, but hey, look, now you got a new one
Yep.
that you don't have to pay this money for,
And you know how it is, though, when somebody else is being positive and you're already stuck
yes,
on the
I was
negative.
going to say,
Like,
because
oh.
with me, though, if I'm already in that negative mindset,
Mhm.
and you come at me being positive, I'm gonna be like, just stop talking to me. Like,
Yeah.
just stop.
Well, and
that sucks too, because you shouldn't be. I don't know if that's human nature to
It
do that
is,
or
because
what.
why would you want to hear good things when you're going through bad?
Right.
I
But
think
you
that is.
should. You should
Well,
want
and
to.
we even talk about it, like, positive helps. And like when you're in a bad mood, you don't want to see negative things. You want to see positive things. But then when it comes from somebody you love, it's like, okay, I get it. There's positive things, but can you come down to the ground with me real quick? Because I need help being pulled up.
Yeah.
Like positive things from you isn't necessarily as helpful, even though it should be, because
it fun?
he's trying to flip his chair, but he can't. The wall's there. But it's, I want to hear the positive, and I think I'd more so like to hear the positive from like in your life than like what
Then
could be
trying
positive in my
to-
life.
right.
Because
Then
like
trying to
Abigail,
spin
she's
it
like,
around
let's
yours.
go take a propofol nap together, and have a colonoscopy. And I'm like, God, Abigail, I wish I could be as positive as you.
Yeah.
Like, I just wish I could be.
That's
that
why I told her. I
positive.
was like, I want to be you when I grow up.
Yeah, I'm like, I really.
And we're the same age.
Well, and she said, she was like, I remember being like that when I was a young adult, and I was like, I'm really not a young adult though. Like, I'm considered middle age now. Like,
Yeah,
I think
but you are still young.
compared to, I guess I'm 10 years younger than you all, but
Yeah.
still, I've always been like more of an oatso. And
I don't know when it really, like when your mindset really changes with stuff. And I don't know that it really ever does, because there's some days that I can wake up and you would be able to pull me out of that negative state, or somebody, like I said, if I woke up in a bad mood, it kind of like dominoes, but then there is somebody surely that you would run into throughout the day that would make you feel better about the day.
yeah.
And I would hope that would domino effect
Yeah.
also,
Well, and that's before when I've said stuff about smiling, like smile, fake it till you make it. I stand behind that still, because even when I'm in a bad mood, you may know it, and other people know it because I get quiet because they know me.
Right.
But you're not going to know it, like, unless you're an empath, you're not going to know it. And that's another thing. Like, I feed off people's energies.
I do that bad.
So that is why I
hate that sometimes.
Well, that's why I have to distance myself from certain people sometimes, because I'm already like, I am already in that depressed state. So I want to be there for you, but I have to do it from a distance because I cannot mentally handle it.
Right.
And I think that's just one of those things where if you are already going through shit, like, it's hard to go through other stuff with other people. And like, don't get me wrong, if you got horrible news right now, like, I would be there with you 100%. And that's something else I'll do. If I have something going on, I'll fixate on somebody else and their problems, because I want to fix them and help fix their problem.
Right.
Even though my problem can't be fixed. But that's just, I have always, and I was like, what is a positive that came out of the eye doctor? Like, my eyes don't hurt no more. If y'all haven't noticed, I ain't digging at my eyes today.
Because you got new contacts, right?
Yes. I told her how dry and like just bad my eyes have been burning, and she was like, we're going to try a new contact. And I was like, perfect. Cost me a little bit more money, but they're like breathable.
But it makes your eyes feel better.
Yes. Because my eyes would burn so bad. People would be like, are you high? Are you on something? I'm like, no, my eyes are on fire. that where was oh, when we were at Freedom Fighters, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had my glasses, because sitting there, just fixating on that stage for so long, my eyes hurt so bad that I just couldn't see, and my eyes was pouring eyes were pouring water, and it was just a nightmare for me. So I tried like fixating on that. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like
a positive
Yes.
outcome
like
in
my
a
eyes don't
negative
hurt no more.
situation.
You might
Yeah.
have colon cancer, but my eyes don't hurt no more. So that's all that matters. And it's such a low percentage. But then she goes into, I wish she wouldn't have, but I'm glad she did. I like the doctors that are just straight shooters, and she was. And she was like, do you have a higher percentage? Yeah, because you're a little bit darker. She said the paler you are, the more likely you are to have freckles.
Mhm.
So it's common to have freckles in your eyes. Well, I've never had freckles in my eyes. This one just appeared. And she said that's not normal because I have a darker skin. Like I don't remember what she said, something, but
And that's weird. I've not heard that either. I always thought like the darker you were, the more prone to freckles you are. Because you see, I have light hair, light skinned.
mhm.
I don't have freckles, but
Well,
my
look at
middle
Aubrey.
sister has darker hair
Mhm.
and still lighter skin, but darker hair.
Yeah.
And she's got freckles.
Well, see, I think it might just be to do with the eyes, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I don't have freckles. I have freckles on my shoulders when I get tan. But I don't have. I just don't have freckles. I have moles in a few places. But that's it. And but she was talking about it, and then so I started researching it, which is the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
But then it kind of eased my mind too, because
MedMD is like the worst place
I didn't
you
get
can
on there.
go.
I just Googled, what, because she called it a specific thing, and it was like almond shaped, which was weird. It was the shape that concerned her,
Mhm.
and that it was so large. And I was like, is that why my vision's blurry in that eye? Because when she was doing my eye test, she, for one, was like, your prescription is way too strong in the computer. And I was like, well, maybe that's why I keep migraines. Like they were trying to overcorrect my eyes.
Mhm.
And but my vision in my right eye is blurry. They
I'm
can't get
blind
it
as
to
a bat
clear.
anyway. Either way it goes, I'm blind
Well,
as a freaking bat.
I'm telling you, doctors like her, even though now I'm concerned about one thing, I was so happy she was such a straight shooter with me, because now I can focus on that. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Right. Yeah.
And now I don't have to worry about my eyes
Oh.
just being on complete fire.
I'm trying to.
Just turn
Sorry.
your volume down.
I did. I've got it off now.
She was trying to get on her
I
phone.
was trying.
So where Danny's not here, or Trish, we're having to watch our comments on our phones.
I see
So
that.
that's what she was doing, was turning on her phone.
I got one too. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's
Mhm.
fixated on the chairs right now.
See? I got one over here too. Yeah.
And yesterday, like after, or not yesterday, but the day before. So the day before, was the day after I had run over the screw. So was it Monday? Yeah, Monday night when I left was when I ran over the screw.
Mhm.
Tuesday was my eye doctor's appointment, my original one. Well,
And
I
you
got
missed that
stuck in
one.
30 minutes of construction on 245, so I didn't have phone service to call them and say, hey, this is what's going on. I didn't know that, they have a red light on 245 and I'm going to get stuck in a long line of traffic. I had no idea. And she was like, well, we can't take you. And I was like, what happened to the 15-minute thing? Like, I've always thought that was a thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like hindsight's 20/20, because I feel like in cases like that, where you're supposed to be or where you should be rather than where you were going is missed.
Oh yeah, well,
And
I said that day, so I had to pull over once I got service, and I got off the phone with her because I was crying, because I was just like, my eyes hurt so bad. I was already just not having a good day, and I just pulled over to the side of the road and started crying. And I have not done that in so long. I cannot tell you last time I
but
had to do that.
sometimes that's such a relief.
Oh yeah, well, and then I called around. Nobody could get me in that day, so me and him went shopping. We got some new shoes, and I kept calling around and stuff, and I got a hold of this amazing receptionist from the same company I go to in E-Town, and I go to the Shepherdsville office. I used to. I'll never go back. But she did everything she could, but they were running an hour behind. So she's like, we can't take you today. She said, but let me check.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually looked at all their offices around New Haven, not around Shepherdsville, not where I was, around New Haven and found the place in Lebanon.
Oh,
And that's where I
that's
went.
awesome. See, people like that go above and beyond.
She did. And I think she just could tell because I mean, I was literally like not trying to cry on the phone, but I
at
was
your
already
wit's end.
there. Yeah. And she could tell in my voice, and nobody else cared but her.
I think that's a very
I wish I would have gotten her name
I don't
because
know,
I would have given her.
I wish more people were like that,
Mm-hmm.
including myself, because there's sometimes I'm not. I'm just like, sorry about you, you know, and I hate that sometimes. And I hate that I allow people to affect me that way. You know?
Well, and I mean, I was not very nice to the receptionist in Shepherdsville, but it was because she's pretty hateful to me.
Mhm.
And because to me, like, she acted like she did not have the time to speak to me. Not only did she put me on hold when I called for like 3 minutes, so that's why I had to pull over because I didn't want to keep wasting my
You're
time.
gonna kick us over, dude.
But I know we're both sitting here holding onto the table because he's using it to kick. But she just, her attitude, and I was just already in a horrible mood because when I woke up, you know, Justin had somehow looked at the wrong tire sensor, which all 4 pop up. So you would think if one said it's low, you would check that one too. But whatever, I digress. So I ended up having to like go to 5-star on a flat tire to put air in my tire. And because he plugged it that morning, and he was like, well, the passenger side tire said it was fine, and and I'm like, okay, but what about the rear driver's side? Because it said it was at like 19, 18.
Right. And I think that again is like where it starts to spiral, but then you got a hold of that one glimmer of light,
Yeah.
you know, that helped you, and then it got you in to see a
Way
doctor.
better person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, that
And she
happened
was
with me
so
and
personable.
Jimmy when he was going through his surgeries and stuff, through his hip surgery. We were set with one doctor. I did not care much for this doctor, which I mean, I'm not a doctor person anyway. I
Yeah.
just don't care for doctors.
Well, sometimes
to
you know if they're
begin with.
bullshit and you're trying to get money out of you.
And so we were set with this really, and he was an amazing doctor, but I guess like his bedside manners was just,
Horrible.
I didn't care for him. Anyway, we were supposed to be, you know, there at a certain time for him to do his surgery. He wasn't supposed to eat or anything prior, you know, after midnight the night before. And he did the next morning.
Of course.
Not much. He did not eat much.
He just wanted to put something on his stomach.
He did, but then he told him that he ate. So, and I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 bites of
An apple just went flying.
that's all right. There's chips down here too. But I think there was like 3 or 4 bites of a sandwich of you know, like a biscuit or something.
Yeah.
Which I get, you're not supposed to go under when you have that done, whatever.
But it only takes so long for your body to process something.
Right. And this to me was so important. Like I got so frustrated with him over it because I was like, why? Like this is such an important event for us. Why would you risk this? Hindsight 2020, this got us into the doctor that he's currently seeing, who is an amazing doctor all the way around.
Yeah.
You know, so I try to follow the fact of everything happens for a reason. Let's just see what that reason is,
Well,
you know?
and, I mean, that's something else too, as far as that goes, because I have never been offered the test they gave me yesterday, ever. And, you know, I had to pay a little bit extra for it, but I was all for it because.
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's going to prevent something else.
So they don't dilate your eyes. I said dilute. They don't dilute your eyes. They don't dilate your eyes.
I don't think anybody dilutes your eyes.
Right. But I can't. I told her because she said something about dilate my eyes, and I said I have him. You know, I'm on small windy roads. I know it makes my vision blurry. I cannot drive with him in my car like that. And I said my SUV barely fits on that road anyway. You know, I don't want to give myself any other reasons to not be able to see the road. And she was like, well, we also have this other test. And she said, you do not have to dilate your eyes, and it actually sees your entire eye. And I was like, perfect. Like, I'll just do that one. And she said, well, it's like $29.99. I mean, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then I want to do that one because why wouldn't you? And plus, I have horrible eyesight. So if there's something they can do to fix it,
let's do it.
Yeah. So,
see, I mean, that is a positive.
It was definitely a blessing in disguise. But in the moment, when it first got canceled.
It's not.
Yes.
It's very frustrating.
And
Like,
the
I
fact
get
that
it.
they blow my phone up saying you're due for your annual exam, blah 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 blah. Well, you can't even hold up to your 15-minute late policy
Right.
because I would have been early because they asked you to be 15 minutes early. I would have been my early had I known that construction was going on the road.
Oh, I'm never early. I'm barely on time.
I was about to say,
and my
I would've-
husband's 10 times worse than I am, so that makes us double late sometimes when we
Yeah.
go to places.
Well, and it's funny because like between you and I, it's always like who's going to be later.
Mhm.
But we're always on time. It's just who's going to be later
Right.
than the other
Than
one.
the other one.
And which today I
Okay.
didn't think I was going to be here on time because I got behind a car on 31 doing 40. So that even made things worse this morning because I cannot
Yeah.
stand people that go so slow. And it was like I was 5 cars back, so I was just stuck back there putting down 31.
Hi.
Can you all hear him? It's funny.
Here, you want my mic? I'll let you talk. Caleb, you want to talk?
Yeah.
Say
Here.
hi.
Ha
Say what's up.
Stop.
What's up?
Say, how you all doing today?
I did.
Are you bashful?
Are you being shy?
Yeah.
He is such a turd.
So the whole thing is just try to be more cautious about
How you start your morning?
how you start your morning, and be more cautious about, even though it's super hard, like it is a super hard thing to do. If something bad happens, try to find the positive in it, or wait and see if there's a positive.
Well,
that
and I
comes,
was like,
you know?
I'm still not in a great mood, and no, thank you. But you push yourself through it,
Mhm.
and I said it's hard to describe it. Do not throw that on the floor, because I literally, if it is bad and it can happen, it will happen to me, 100%.
As she said that, literally, she just said, "Do not throw that in the floor." And as she's talking, he's like,
Oh,
I think that's
boy.
our sign, guys, to call it. Thanks for tuning in for us with us today.
And even though like him being a little tired and stuff, be mindful of your mornings, because it does not matter how your morning goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 4 little
Try
ones
to
that
put
watch me.
yourself in a good mindset yourself. You know?
Yes, and push forward. No matter what kind of news you get, no matter what if something bad happens to you, the screw in my tire, the news that the speckle in my eye could be colon cancer. Whoever heard of that? But I've always been told I was full of shit. Maybe it floated up to my eyes.
That's it.
But just
Positive. See, positive.
exactly. But just try to find a reason to smile, and that's something else too that kind of floats on my behalf. I have very dark humor.
Yeah.
So my dark humor gets me by in a lot of situations. But anyways, like Amber said, Caleb's sitting here being a little turd. So
That's our cue.
yeah, but
But how lucky are we to be able to do this and have him here with us?
I
You know? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thanks you all for tuning in with us today. And don't forget tomorrow. Thank you. Tomorrow we will have our regular podcast at 1 o'clock. So make sure that you all tune in. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Instagram.
Don't let him face plant.
Oh yeah, don't fall. But make sure that you tune in to us tomorrow as well. See you all.
Thanks, y'all.